the mandate given by the First Presidency and the presiding bishopric is to only focus on financial growth. EPA employees are told that the money will be used after the second coming of Jesus Christ or during Armageddon right before he would come again.
Travis Wingetzel. So, as you noticed lately, my videos include, in the beginning or near the beginning, pictures that I'm using over and 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 over again. You're supposed to read them, not ignore them and hope they go away, because they will after 15, 20 seconds. As there's more to my videos. But you're supposed to accept the Book of Mormon, because you say you do, Mormons. It's on you. If you're going to say you know the church is true, you know the Book of Mormon is the Word of God, do you? I'm calling you out. Because what you mean is anti-Semitic. You do not believe what the Book of Mormon says, that it's Jewish. And then I see that Mormons get upset with me. They won't come out and confess that they're an anti-Semite. They just put a thumbs down, run away and hide. And they deny that they're the evil person of utter hate. They are unable to come to grips with reality that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a complete and utter fraud, and as such it is committing crimes and it is stealing your money, and it is purposely setting you up for failure. All you had to do was run the test. Matthew chapter 7. You will know a false prophet by their fruits. Fruits are the conclusion of a seed. So prophets don't hand out seed. They speak words. Follow out the words to see where it will lead. And mankind is smart enough that we've figured out a whole bunch of words and what their conclusions will be. And so parents are responsible for letting children know this, so that the child isn't responsible for running through this process from the beginning. That if parents tell them the truth, teach them how to run this process of turning words into the consequences to see whether they're good or bad, right or wrong, true or false. And by the time they get into the public education system, then they can finally get taught real science methodology with logic, Socratic methodology. They can develop theories and go beyond what their basic lessons from their parents taught them. And of course, religion should be telling people to be good, not to murder other people who don't believe like you, and cause them harm in the name of Jesus. Right, Ray Montgomery? Where are you? Where are you, Ray? What happened on 8 April 2024? Well, nothing to me. Yeah, Ray Montgomery, aka his real name was hidden, and it seems we were finding out that he was using a VPN to hide his location as well. And so he attacked me both on the website that Paul had set up for me, as well as on YouTube, threatening me that I was going to be murdered on 8 April 2024. And then another wannabe murderer came around also and said that 8 April 2024 was going to be my last chance to repent. Yeah. And so, yeah, when the prophets claim they have the titles of prophet, seer, revelator, that means they're supposed to be able to produce the fruits of those titles, thus the power thereof, so that Mormons can know that they are true or be exposed as false. Real simple stuff, and I've done it, And that's why I do these videos warning you of the danger that is about to come for Bloodbath 2024. So everybody knows Trump wants a mass deportation, not just of Haitians, but he's using them because it triggered the deep state Dems. And of course, yes, there are already people in Springfield who are terrorizing and abusing the Haitians because Trump said to do so. And the government's not locking them up for this act of violence towards Haitians. America is going to fall because our government is failing to do its job according to their oaths of office to the United States Constitution. It's all about life, liberty, and property, equal for everyone. And yet we see that there is no equal justice in America. Laws get made for specific individuals, groups, corporations, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, especially when Orrin Hatch was in power. The executives refuse to prosecute certain people and only go after others only once it becomes so extreme. You know, like in the state of Utah, obvious things don't get done until a certain number of common peon folks get murdered, or when somebody important's relative gets murdered. Then they go, we need to make change. You know, like a simple little crosswalk that the planner forgot to put in his little design. And then the failure of our court systems with the extension of process for certain people and the immediate locking up of innocent persons who get life for having done nothing wrong other than the color of their skin. These kinds of failures in our government to follow the Constitution is an attempted coup. In the news this past week, there was a sheriff who assassinated a judge right there in his chambers. And I can see how it would have played out. You know, you have the police who go out of their way, risking their lives to catch criminals and bring them to court to be prosecuted, only to have the judge dismiss the case, whether it be for a technicality or because the judge is getting paid off, you know, like SCOTUS. And so, yeah, it can be extremely frustrating when cops have to keep arresting people only to have the people get thrown back onto the streets to commit more crimes. And so consequences are following. And we know this from the Book of Mormon. The whole story of King Noah is a big warning to us. Government must preserve the rights of life, liberty, and property to the people. Otherwise, a government will fall. And here we go. America is about to fall. And so you can follow it through with Trump. You know he's going to mass deport people, specifically immigrants at the border. There's going to be the biggest mass deportation ever. We already know what he did when he was pretending to be president. The day after, we learned that he had implemented the locking up of everybody at the border in cages, separating babies from their mother and locking them up in cages, and then deporting the kids into the human trafficking of adoption agencies, parents having to sign documents saying that they will leave America and go back to the bleep hole country where they came from, where they were abused and tried to come to America to seek asylum so that they can live in peace, safety, and refuge, as long as the kids can be human trafficked into the adoption agencies. And so, let's play it out. Whether you believe Trump is the good guy, or whether you want to prove that, sure enough, the deep state dem press are right, follow it out. Don't just conclude. That's stupid. It makes you look stupid. Follow it out. What's going to happen? Okay, so Trump becomes president. You know, the voting says that he is the president. Electoral colleges across the nation puts Trump over the top. And Kamala Harris, wanting a peaceful transfer of the peaceful transition, concedes, calls Trump and says, "Well done." And then Trump says, "Harris showed me no love." Being the good sport that he is. And he becomes president. And then he implements immediately Project 2025, and his own words, for the biggest mass deportation ever. And so immigrants are targeted. ICE goes in, rounds them all up, ships them out. All gone. And so, yeah, the Haitians in Springfield, gone. DACA recipients, gone. Those who are married to a citizen, gone. Remember, Biden tried to let them have a better pathway for citizenship with their spouse, because apparently that fell through, where being married to a citizen doesn't automatically give you citizenship anymore, I guess. That was weird for me to find that out. But anyway, gone now. Separated, family separation. Right, Mormons? That's the family proclamation? Is that families are only for legitimate families, not for broken households of immigrants or those who are colored, an interracial relationship, or et cetera, etc. And so those who are LGBTQIAPO+, gone. You know, Bill Maher ruined it with new rules last night, saying that all of the couch sacks of J.D. Vance was just a lie. And so you can't add C to LGBTQ. But of course, there was other people in the news this past week who I guess need to have a letter for LGBTQ, like the black Nazi. Dear God. So, yeah, mass deportation. All that's left are rich white people. What's going to happen? Follow it through. Who works the farms in America? Immigrants. Trump has now kicked them out. They are no longer working on the farms. They're gone. They're out. So follow that through. Now what's going to happen? There's nobody working on the farms. So restaurants and grocery stores do not get food. The food production companies don't get food. Follow it through. Now what happens? You go to the grocery store as a rich white person. There's no food for you. Hey, where's my food? Where's my maid at home? That I can have sex with. Right, Arnold Schwarzenegger? Oh, you forgot about that, did you? Trump, too. Trump knocked up one of his maids and forced her to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So that's why it wasn't brought up in 2016. It was caught and killed, just like Stormy Daniels and Playboy Girl. Caught and killed. Follow it through. So they can't go out to eat at the restaurants. If they even did go to the grocery store to push a shopping cart, the restaurants have no food. They're not able to eat anymore. Follow it through. What happens when people don't have food? They panic. There's food insecurity that kicks in. So what do? You can't start planting seeds in your backyard. It takes time for those seeds to grow into fruit. And then you have to do all the work to harvest them. And then produce them into the various food products. With cooking and baking and all that. You have to do it. Follow it through. Other people, not just you, are starving. You've got several days left before bodily problems begin to occur in your stomach. So yes, now you end up fighting other people as you try to go in and steal from others to find out what food they have left. And violence ensues. And then, hey, that other person has meat on their bones. And then you delve into cannibalism. Did you know that was warned about for the last day's war? The final war of the Nephites. They delve into cannibalism because the food supplies are out. So the only source of food is what you can hunt and gather. See, here in Utah this year, we're already hunting unauthorized animals. You're not hearing about that? It was earlier this month, I think, or last month, when the report came out that over 100 different animals were killed that were not in season, that there are no licenses given out to hunt. In Utah, they're very, very pro-gun, and there's still hunting in the state of Utah, and they allow for hunting seasons. And hunters are very meticulous about this, and yet, despite this, there are dumbasses who ruin it for the hunters. So yeah, civil war, cannibalism is coming in the coming days, because Trump wants it. And so he has no interest in becoming king, because when America descends into civil war, Trump needs food too, you know. And so he'll just leave the country. This is the consequences of what's coming. This is what I've been warning you about. And Mormons don't believe it. They are in denial of the consequences of what's coming. And so, likewise for President Nelson, Mormons were supposed to do this. Put the president to the test to find out if he's true or not. And so the president of Ensign College, which used to be LDS Business College, isn't it? Because that's where my dad had to get an extra job as an old man, not able to retire because of the consequences of the economy. And so he says, ask these 4 questions. What kind of life am I living? What kind of life are you living, Mormons? Why are you obsessed with clicking on my channel videos and putting a thumbs down, and a hate comment, and a death threat, and a false testimonial? Do you honestly think that I'm going to read, I know the church is true, I feel it with every fiber of my cereal, and then I'm just going to go, oh wow, I am pricked, and I'm going to believe you and humble myself and go back to my bishop, which I guess is across the street somewhere in the neighborhoods over there, I guess, and say, hey, I'm living in your area. Oh yeah, we already know about you. We have your membership record right here. What? I moved here last year. You aren't supposed to know that I'm here. Well, yeah, well, we know. We know that you're an anti-Mormon, anti-Christ, apostate, Korah whore who's posting videos on YouTube. We know exactly where you live. And we know your browsing history. There's a couple who do critical videos of the church, and that's what YouTube recommended to me to view, and so I thought, oh, okay, yeah, I already know about all that. And so yeah, I clicked on their channel to see what they're all about, and yeah, I mentioned them in a video where he's grabbing her butt in the middle of the video, and then she's non-verbally communicating very loudly. So cute. I disagree with 22 years of marriage, though, because she'd have to be exceedingly young when she got married to even begin for me to accept that she's that old. Nonetheless, so cute. So no, Mormons aren't going to tell me that Jesus is the Christ, and then all of a sudden I go, oh no, I'm just like Paul. Jesus Christ appears to me and tells me that I am wrong, and tells me I am wrong. You don't know that hymn? It's a song of a testimonial that kids are supposed to give at the Rameumptums of church. I know my Father lives and loves me too. The Spirit whispers this to me. It's now a spiritual witness feeling in place of it, 'cause we no longer believe in the still small voice, and tells me that it's true. Yeah. No, you're not going to convince me that the text of the Book of Mormon and the text of Joseph Smith are now going to be Christian. I have learned the church has lied to us. I am not going back. And so if you've been following my videos, I'm going forward. I'm trying to help you understand the core The church is lying. This is the truth. Follow the truth. Follow it through. This is what I've been trying to teach you this whole time. And Mormons won't do it. They just accept the seed as true and refuse to produce the results of the seed. So the second question is, am I letting God prevail in my life? And what does that mean for me? It means you're a dumbass anti-Semite who's a sucker and a loser to con men who are stealing your money. That's what it means. Do you know where that comes from? Where does he get, let God prevail in my life? Because you didn't go to conference. You took off on vacation, didn't you? And you missed my videos, or YouTube finally showed you this one video, finally, after all these years and over 8,000 videos. You saw this one video, and you're already gone, having argued with me that I'm wrong. Church is true. Christian, Jesus. Let God prevail is the white supremacist translation, which you can't even call it that because I don't even believe in translation. If it's not English, it's wrong. Remember mass deportation? From the book of Genesis, when Jacob gets his name changed to Israel. If you knew Hebrew, and even if you didn't but had access to a Hebrew text, and you had a direct linear translation in which you see the Hebrew words and then you see the English translation directly for each and every single word, you would recognize that there are smaller words in that sentence that are contained within the full name of Israel. And then you'll notice prevail is not in the word Israel. And so Yah, the Hebrew God, is in Israel. S and R, yep, that's Prince. And then L, that's God. Yah, Prince, God. Thus, a literal translation, Yah, Prince of God. A prince is someone who's in line to become king. Once the king is gone, the prince takes over and becomes the king. Jacob usurped the birthright and blessing from his brother Esau, and is now called a prince. The prince of their Hebrew God Yah once Isaac is dead, Jacob now takes over the tribe. Real simple. Every Jew knows it. Even though apparently the translation of Israel is wrong. I am curious, what does Google AI revise this history name of? I'm hoping that since the latest cyber attack the other day on my 2-hour video, that I will be left alone this morning and this weekend. Baby name meaning Israel. Oh, there it is. AI overview. The name Israel has multiple meanings and origins, including God preserves. Yep, there it is. AI, white supremacist Christian nationalist. And then another dumbass one is one who struggles or wrestles with God. Well, at least that's close to what the previous story leading up to the name change talks about. Oh my God. And so yeah, God preserves. Nelson has altered the baby name meaning permanently. Here in Mama Natural, Israel name meaning means God fights or God governs. Oh my God. So that's close with Prince. They're trying to resolve that. They're having difficulty understanding that Isaac is the tribal leader and that Jacob now takes over as tribal leader. But they're on the right track, Mama Natural. But yeah, AI is supporting the bump. That's whoever they are. That's a white supremacist Christian nationalist thing. That is not Hebrew origin. Israel is a gender-neutral name of Hebrew origin. No, it's in the masculine singular, you dumbass. Let's see if we can get a snapshot of this. Yeah, you do not want AI, guys. It will take you far away from the truth. Yah, Prince of God. Real simple. Or the God Yah, the Prince of the God Yah. That's also another acceptable translation. And so, yeah, you can see AI is being programmed by white supremacist Christian nationalists. Thank you, Nelson, you dumbass. All you had to do was look at the text, go to the Biblical Hebrew, blueletterbible.org. That'll help you out. And so even though they don't have a literal translation of each word, you can click on each word and it'll show you what that translation is. And so, other than Israel, it'll just say Israel. But yeah, it's real simple. Hebrew is far simpler than I realized. Because before I learned Hebrew, I was in the library in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, and I found a literal Bible with English translation directly below, and also a full text translation underneath each paragraph. And the one I have packed away somewhere in one of those boxes is the interlinear NIV translation. And so the text portion is crap. If you get it, you can't rely on that. There's too much Christianity influence in that. But the linear is more acceptable, except for the Greek. There's some problems because there's some Christianizing involved in there. But it's actually for the Greek text. It's not the Old Testament. But yeah, you need to know your Greek vocabulary separate from the Christianizing of Greek, so that you can discern the difference. And so you'll never find repent anywhere in the New Testament, anywhere in any of those scriptures. Repent is not found in the Greek. A second physical suffering, pain? No, you're not going to find it. There's another word in its place. And when it comes to love, that's going to be shocking for you. Especially when Jesus is talking with Peter at a campfire and he says, "Do you love me, Peter?" And he says, "Of course I love you." "Peter, do you love me?" "Of course I love you." "Peter, do you love me?" "Of course I love you." Oh, crap. You have no clue in English what he's doing there. what's being done by the author. You have to know Greek, because there's multiple words for love, and 2 of them are being used there. And so, yeah, this is what Nelson has done. He is taking you down a path of white supremacy Christian nationalism, to be an anti-Semite, to deny the real meaning of scriptures. That's what it means for you. And so then, am I staying on or straying from the covenant path? Well, what's the covenant path? We all know it. I've been doing the videos. I've got the little video clips from the temple endowment. They're the 5 laws that all Mormons must obey. And I used to have the covenant bondage underwear Jesus with the solar eclipse that I was prophesying and revealing the day and the hour of before it happened. Oh no, I could be exposed as a false prophet now. Right, Ray Montgomery? Did it happen? Am I true or am I false? Nelson didn't bother. He's not going to prophesy or reveal anything for us. That's their official policy. They have the titles, but they're not going to do anything with them. And you have to stay on the covenant path. When they will not do anything with the titles they self-proclaim they have. They're not going to do it. They're not going to prophesy. They're not going to reveal. They themselves say it. Why are you getting angry at me for this? I exposed myself as a prophet, a seer, a revelator, and a translator. I'm at great risk. I could be exposed. And so what are those covenant paths? 1, obey. Women, obey your husband. Yes, still, even after the 2019 change, you still have to obey your husband. Who speaks for Jesus? Nelson. What does Nelson tell you to obey? The family proclamation. What does the family proclamation tell you to obey? Your husband. But you're an equal partner. You're still in bondage to your husband. And then the husband has to follow the living prophet of Jesus, which, family proclamation, which he rules in the home. Obey. And technically you're supposed to obey the prophets for the others. So number 2, law of sacrifice. You have to kill yourself so that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints doesn't get prosecuted for their crimes. Their coup of the government this year. Law of the gospel. Nelson in 2019 added the higher law of polygamy. There is no such thing as a higher law of Jesus. It's not in the New Testament anywhere. It's in the chapter headings by Bruce R. McConkie, though. But it's polygamy. You got to go to section 132 to see that it's the higher law. It's the law that will only get you into the highest degree of the celestial kingdom, thus the higher law. You got to follow this through. It's polygamy, reinforced in the law of the gospel. And of course, it still contains that you can't speak evil of the Lord's anointed. Who are the Lord's anointed? Hey, guess what, Mormons? I'm anointed. So are you. But that's not what it means, is it? Only the leaders of the church, those titles. And so Oakes, in a documentary to the BBC, it's wrong to criticize leaders of the church, even when that criticism is correct. Which he got straight from the Danites of 1838. And then law of polygamy. It's back. Are you obeying? Why are you getting mad at me when you're not obedient? Men, you are required to marry other women. Polygamy. Why aren't you obeying? Oh, your wife won't let you? Well, what's supposed to happen to your wife in section 132 if she does not give you more women? She's supposed to be destroyed. Are you obeying? Or are you wicked to the living prophet of Jesus? Are you women who are the first wife giving your husband more wives according to the law of Sarah in section 132? Are you being obedient to the living prophet of Jesus and staying on, or are you straying from the covenant path? Follow it through. And then the law of consecration. You are now a slave to this kingdom. Because that's what they're doing. They're cooing the government, getting their kingdom back. And you become the slave. You own nothing. Everything has to go to the kingdom. You are a slave. You only get what you need to exist to continue to be a slave. The leaders of the church are the only ones who are high priests, and therefore the only ones who get extra wives. If you're a slave, you're too busy working to have extra wives. You may be allowed one, those that were undesirable by the leaders, and so that your children can be born in slavery. But it's got to be kept down. You can't have free sex to have multiple babies like those immigrants do, because they don't have the money for contraception. They're definitely not allowed an abortion. And then, am I preparing to live with God again? Are you preparing to die in the coming days? This is what he meant. So yeah, technically I guess you can call this the church news video for last night, which I did last night with the little video clip, or the picture clip, that I put in his questions on his face. But this is an important video for you. You are not obeying what you claim you're obeying. You're just vocalizing it. You're drawing near to God with your lips, but your hearts are far from Him. And you have weaponized to attack those of us who just simply tell you to follow it through, so that you can see for yourself that you're being conned by this church. And you won't do it. So the consequences are going to follow for you being wicked. They're going to murder you. The church is behind this threat that Trump is spewing and is in Project 2025. The church is going to purge America. All of you who are not rich white people, in the church, you're gone. You're dead. And so even if you're an ex-fo nevermo in this valley, your lives are in greater danger than the Mormon lives, who are also going to be living here and experience the same suffering. The church hates you, especially for being an apostate. They want you to suffer and be punished. And this is what they've been doing to us here in this valley. Purposely making life miserable for us, to force those who are rich enough to leave on their own. And then we heard the news stories about people who were trying to get the hell out of Utah and then got robbed so that they were forced to stay. See, me? They don't want me in Utah. They want me gone. But yet they won't get rid of me. They purposely tried to incarcerate me and lock me up. And so I'm here because I got myself free from Gail Miller's concentration camp of hell of human trafficking that I was forced to be in for 9 months. Because they don't help the homeless. It's human trafficking. The shelters need to make money. They are run by a corporation led by Gail Miller. The corporations are in existence to make money, and the shelters make money by having homeless people in them. And they have to overfill it so that they can go back to the government and get a new contract for more money. So that they, the company, can get more money. And they don't trickle it down to the homeless. Any money that is given to the homeless shelters stays at the top of the corporate board and Gail Miller. And then what does Gail Miller do with the money? She's Mormon. She has to pay the church 10%. And then Gail Miller launders other money back to the church. Back. Remember, the church claimed that they were being charitable by donating $3 million, was it, or $300 million? Whatever amount of money. That's $3 million. They don't give $300 million to the... No, $3 million. It was in the $100 millions that the government gave of your tax money to the corporate board leaders and Gail Miller, not to help the poor. And so, yes, she launders it back. How do you think the church did the Joseph Smith papers? Did you miss that? Do you even know that the Joseph Smith papers exist? The church was never going to do it. It was only because Gail Miller laundered back the money to the church to get it done, so that the church would do it. Otherwise, if nobody's paying them to do it, they're not going to do it. The church will never spend any money themselves. They get other Mormons to donate money, and then the church profits off of it. The money that Gail Miller gave for the work on the Joseph Smith papers, the church followed the exact same pattern that they do for Ensign Peak Advisors. They have a separate LLC company that they laundered 10% into from Gail Miller and any other funding for the Joseph Smith papers. They invest in the stock market. They don't do any spending in violation of 501c3 tax exempt status. And then there's SEC violations involved. And that the remainder of the money left over, because Royal Skousen, he's supposed to work for free. And so it's only the equipment cost, which they already used by the Family Search Center or Family History Center or whatever. They only used those machinery and computers and such. So all of that is paid for. So all of the extra money not spent on this Joseph Smith Papers project is now laundered into an offshore bank account in a non-extradition country. Nelson told us this is the pattern for every single source of income. This is the con, Mormons. And so, this will still be another video, because this is a different topic. Follow the prophet, because that's what he says. Follow the prophet by asking these 4 questions. The prophet, not the prophets, the prophet. Oaks and others have been doing church news videos telling Mormons around the world, follow the prophet, the prophet. And Mormons have no clue what it means, because they think Israel means let God prevail. Yep. He pulled a double whammy on you at Ensign College devotional. And Mormons are clueless. So that's the other video. We'll see if I'll do it today. So let me give you a teaser or a clue. Muhammad, the founder of Islam. What do Islamists call him as their founder? Can you Google search it? Will AI allow it? Muslims often refer to Muhammad. This is not an AI. The first one is a Wikipedia article. Muslims often refer to Muhammad as Prophet Muhammad, or just the Prophet. Okay? And regard him as the greatest of all prophets. Let's get that too, just in case I do that video today. Okay? So Mormons call Nelson the prophet. Islamists call Muhammad the prophet. Christians something's missing in Christianity. Because they won't even call Jesus the prophet, they call him the Christ. You need to know your ancient cultures and the de-evolution over time with these other branch-off religions that formed, or created religions that got formed. Okay, there's your homework.